Welcome back. It's Supernatural Week here on This Morning, and don't I just know it? We're standing in this position because another bulb was blown over there. Maybe it's Norman done it. Apparently 2 bulbs have blown tonight since Jeff Brazier was meddling here last night. I said to everybody, don't mess about with it, and now look what's happened. Stuff is going wrong.
But Norman's friendly. The This Morning alleged poltergeist is friendly.
Do you know,
Well, I know what you're thinking. I know the words that you're thinking. And we all know the words you're thinking, so take that on board.
Right. Try this one, then. Do you believe that the world is a hologram? Or that many prominent figures, including some of the royal family, are controlling our reality?
Well, someone who does believe that is David Icke. He's been described as the most controversial speaker in the world.
Earlier in the week, we spoke to David about his supernatural beliefs.
This is certainly one of those interviews that I have a feeling, just sort of sitting here, it's going to be quite challenging. You have to open your mind. You've done an enormous amount of research, and so let's see if we can scratch the surface on some of the ideas that you have.
OK.
First of all, you say you're one of those people that always questioned the world. You questioned who we are and what we are.
Right.
What have you learnt?
You know, people will remember me, those that are old enough, from about 25 years ago when I had my eureka moment. And I was an ex-television presenter. I decided to get out of the business and follow my journey, where life was pushing me. And what happened in that strange period in 1991 was that, you know, when you press the keys on a computer too many, and it freezes because it says, I can't process this, and that's what happened to me. And that's when Time Warp stuck in. That's when media Time Warp locked in. It's official, Ike's a nutter, that's the end of it. And
well, you did go on the Wogan show and say, and you didn't deny, when he asked you if you were the son of God, you didn't deny it.
Well, yeah, but that has to be put into context. What I was saying, and you've got to understand at that time that I was going through this amazing transformation of awareness. It was like everything morphed back. And people were saying to me, I thought you'd gone mad, mate. You're the same David Icke I knew. And I was, in terms of the way they saw me. But I wasn't, because now I'm seeing the world in a completely different way. Before, there were puzzle pieces all over the floor. Now, suddenly, I can see how they fit together. And I spent the last 25 years putting them together.
So, what is your puzzle like? What does it look like?
The 5 senses decode. The ears are classic, but it's the same with all of them. They decode waveform information, energetic information. Think of it as the wireless internet. The 5 senses turn that information from waveform into electrical information, same information, different form, which is communicated to the brain. So, for instance, if I bang my shin, I don't say ouch until that message has got to the brain. And the brain takes that information from the 5 senses and it constructs reality. And therefore, we are living in an illusory reality in terms of solidity. That's why that table, which seems so solid, is made of atoms, and atoms have no solidity. As someone rightly said, if you take an atom to be the size of a cathedral, the nucleus of the atom is about the size of a 10-cent piece. Everything else is empty space. How can that make the solid world? It's not solid. So once you come from that perspective...
Yet if I pick it up and bash you on the head with it, well, it's going to hurt.
Yes, because that's the way we decode information. I've been saying now for so many years in my books that this world is actually holographic. And a hologram is not solid, it's not physical, it's illusory solid, and it's illusory three-dimensional. Now, once you're dealing with something that's holographic, something that is a projection, you're no longer dealing with someone getting the metal and the stuff and all the rest of it and making a moon. Because it's a projection. It's a holographic projection.
So the moon isn't real?
No. Well, none of it's real, really, because it's all a projection. But
is the universe a projection?
Yes, it is. And that's what these scientific teams in Bonn and America have come to the conclusion
so who's
of.
Who's projecting the projection?
Well, I mean, you can keep going on and keep going on, and that's why I keep going on. And these are the questions we need to understand. But once you're dealing with something that's not physical, limitation disappears. We have to expand our perception of the possible. You see, if you want to keep people in the box, keep people in the bubble, one of the fundamental ways of doing that is to suppress their perception of the possible. Because when you're doing things out here, people in the perception bubble will say, that's not possible, that's not possible, it can't be done, and they dismiss it when you can go on and do it without being challenged.
Who's keeping us in the box, and why would they want to do that?
Well, I mean, you know, this is why Wembley was 10 hours and my books are that long. There's so many dots to connect. But there is a force which is feeding off human energy. And it operates. This is why understanding the nature of reality is so important, to understand this force. Because this force takes a form that basically energetic in its base form, though it can project form. And it operates on the fringes of our perception band. So when people say, well, you're talking about these people, I've never seen them, well, you wouldn't, because they're operating outside.
To sum that up, if it's possible, then it is like the Matrix, that we are being controlled. This is something that's being controlled for us. It's being made for us. And it is, what, millennia old?
Oh, yeah, probably, and the rest. But
yeah.
I mean, that's an interesting point. If you take the Matrix movies, you take away the poetic license, you take away all the violence, and you take away all the, you know, the stuff they put in movies, and you take the basic concept of people living in a reality thinking it's real when it isn't. Our prime reality has been hacked into, just like the Matrix. A lot of stuff comes out of Hollywood, which is actually telling you the truth.
Would you say that I was wrong, therefore, to be quite enjoying my fake reality? I mean, am I suppressed in such a way that I don't even realise it? Because I quite like it.
Well,
yeah.
If you want to like living in this reality, then good for you.
So what about we're controlled by... It has to have control. There have to be people who control it, I assume, if they're creating this reality for us. And you've said quite controversially that, you know, that the royal family and members of the media and members of the banking profession are all part of this controlling force.
The ones that control the system, not everybody in those professions.
Right. So we are being controlled by a group of super beings.
Well, actually, not super beings. You know, if we are super beings. We are infinite awareness. That's what we are. We are awareness. And what this body does, I call it the biological computer, is it focuses the attention of that awareness in this tiny band of frequency called visible light. So we think this is all there is. When people leave the body, and suddenly, this is a constantly common theme, that their awareness suddenly expands, suddenly past, present and future all exist in the same now, because there is no time. That's another illusion. And the reason that they suddenly have this expansion of awareness is that their point of attention has left the focus, the lens, the body, and can suddenly be set free.
I'm so sorry to keep jumping in, David.
That's right.
It's only because our time and dimensional restrictions are less infinite. If this has been going on for millennia, how long is it going to be before you wake up the planet to the fact that this is all a creation? And then what happens? Because you'll freak out the entire planet. Well, if you strip down the wallpaper of the Matrix and suddenly we end up with this reality that is the true reality, we'll be frightened to death.
Is it better? Well, I've read about near-death experiences. I've never read one that wanted to come back. This is in a sense, this place is hell. If
the royal family are alien beings, or some of them, or some bankers, or some in the media, then you're talking about a global war to push them out? How do we get rid of them?
Well, the thing is, their power is in us not knowing they exist, and their power is also this, getting the population to give us their power. We give... Oh, I don't, my goodness me, the very thought. But how many people give their power to the royal family? How many people give their power to governments? How many people give their power to bankers? All the time.
So your reality is anarchy?
No, it's not anarchy. It's the opposite. Do you think bombing innocent civilians from the sky to protect them from violence is not anarchy? Do you think lending money that doesn't exist, called credit, and if we don't pay them back plus interest, they can take our real wealth, our homes and our land and our businesses and stuff? Do you think that's not anarchy? People dying of hunger in a world of plenty is not anarchy. We have anarchy now. So when we expand our consciousness, we have anything but anarchy. We have intelligence, which is what we lack now.
I have to ask you then, if your method is to spread the word, enlighten everyone, Why did people have to spend £62 to go in and see your show, your talk at Wembley Arena? Why didn't you let them all in for free and do it night after night after night?
Right.
Why do they have to pay? Money, you say money is evil.
How much? I don't say money is evil. I don't say money is evil. I say the money, the way it's used is evil, and the way it's created is evil. I didn't call it evil,
But why isn't this free?
Do you know how much it costs to publish a book? Do you know how much it costs to hire Wembley Arena for one day?
So you don't get any profit. It's only hiring the place out.
I have not taken a single penny from the Wembley event. It's going to go forward for the next one in October 2014. I live, Philip, in a one-bedroom flat in Ryde, Isle of Wight, with a little office where I write all my books. I'll swap my income for yours any day.
Mine doesn't exist. It's not reality.
Right, okay.
That's fascinating,
Well,
and this is what we're talking about. Here you go, human race. Get off your knees. The lion sleeps no more. David Icke, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure. Thank you very much.
Well, yeah. Regardless of what you think, it's fascinating.
It is so fascinating.